Okay. I have had some people ask me like about my dad's heart attack story. So about 10 years ago, my dad had the massive Widowmaker heart attack. And that was quite the journey. Oh my gosh. Actually being in Trinity and Minot, which was a little bit of a nightmare. And then we moved him over to Abbott in Minneapolis because I was living in Minneapolis. I'm like, let's get him here to the one of the best heart doctor, facilities, hospital facilities. And that was really an interesting, that was interesting as well. One doctor told him, you're never gonna, my dad said, oh, I just climbed Camelback Mountain 3 months ago. And he goes, you'll never do that again. Okay, he's done it probably a handful of times since then, which is pretty impressive. And then they wanted him to have and then we saw the heart failure doctor. The heart failure doctor came in and he said to us, you're going to need a heart transplant. Any questions? And walks out the door. My dad has tears in his eyes. He looks at me and he's like, I don't want to die. And I had no words. I had no words. And I always have words, so I had no words. And I look at him and I'm like, what do you need? And he's like, I need a bad coffee. I need a coffee and I need a bad one. And I'm like, okay, well, of course they have McDonald's and Caribou in the hospital. So we go get him that. And then the doctors were saying no alcohol. And he's like, and I go, emotionally, he's traumatized at this point. I'm traumatized at this point. And I go, well, I have wine at home. I said, you can have wine, but I'm not going to let you have any other alcohol. So he comes home, he drinks a whole bottle by himself, which I was totally fine with because I'm like, at this point, this is just too much trauma. We had to just whatever. At this point, he had to just cope. And then he was in a good mood. And we went to my daughter's soccer game and whatever. And he was able to laugh and do all this kind of stuff. So we were able to get through, probably not the healthiest way, but it's the only way we knew how in the moment because we were so traumatized. From there, we made a decision. My family, my sister and brother and I made the decision to send my dad down to Baylor University, down by Penny, because they're one of the top heart transplant hospitals in the country. So we sent him down there. And it's just to get information. We really never wanted him to have a heart transplant. So anyways, from there, they said he could be on the donor list still because I think he was, I don't remember which age, but he was under that age by a year or two that he could still be on a donor list. And he opted not to. He goes, you know what? Somebody else can have someone's heart. I'm okay. I'm not going through all of that. So he decided not to get a heart transplant. And from there, the healing began. We're like, let's figure out what we can do to heal this. And he was on 14 different medications. And with all their side effects and stuff, we were trying to manage all of that. From there, what I looked at it, and we just said, what does he test for? What does his body want energetically? And what does he not? What does he maybe could wean off of? And worked with the doctors on some of it. Some of it, my dad just stopped himself. Okay. So I have no say in that because it was just, it's his own decision. It's his own body. So anyways, got him down to, he was using no medications for quite a few years actually. Last year, we got him on one heart medication. Oh, actually a blood thinner. So anyways, after like 10 years. So anyways, he ended up in the hospital because he did a stress test. They did a chemical stress test when he was in Arizona. I had no idea about that there was something like this. So they injected him with some radioactive dye and then did this, pumped him full of chemicals to stress out his heart. Oh my gosh. Okay, I wasn't there. I wish I was there. But I don't think my brother even knew like what actually they were doing. So 2 days after that, my dad's having a hard time breathing. He's not feeling very good. And then he walks into the clinic, his doctor's clinic, and he's like, well, my dad walks like like when he's in Arizona, that's what he does. He just probably walks 15,000 steps a day. He just walks and walks and walks, which is part of his healing process. He's done amazing. Anyways, he ended up in the hospital, or they said he went into his doctor's office and he said, can you do a quick check? Because I just want to make sure, because I'm not feeling very good. So then they said, no, you have to be admitted him to the hospital. And from there, um, he, it was kind of like, ugh, just being in the hospital. Ugh, I hated it. None of us like it, but I hate dealing with all of those doctors. It's like I know more than the average person, so therefore I ask questions, and then the doctors are, their egos get in the way and they can be quite jerky to me, let's just say. Anyways, so we got him there. They ended up doing like some sort of catheter. They went through both of his legs and went up through his veins and his arteries to check it all out for plaque buildup, and then they would just put stents in as needed. So when they did that, I was like, oh, I hope he's going to be okay through this. And the doctor comes up and he's like, he's clean. Like he didn't have any plaque buildup or anything. He said, I'm surprised he even had this heart attack. I'm like, this is a testament to natural healing. Holy moly. They were like, we did it. That's pretty darn cool. So anyways, they didn't have to do anything, but I put him on, and some of the things he's been on for a while now is a cardiolipid from Biotics. I love that product. I just believe it cleans out all of the arteries and the veins, and clearly he was on it for 6 months before all of this. And that is amazing. The right fish oils, the right, especially magnesium, different minerals, making sure that his minerals are in balance. And his heart, it's just amazing. It's amazing as much as it's healed the last 10 years when he was supposed to have a heart transplant. Holy moly. So anyways, your body can heal itself. I just love it. Anyway, so we really figured out that what happened there is this chemical stress test is what caused him to go into the hospital. So many times you have a procedure, you have an injection, you take different medications that interact with each other, and you have no idea what their interaction or what that's going to do to you. So if he would have known that, he would have never done that. He would never have done that. The other tests that he's done were more just like on the treadmill and doing that kind of stuff. He never did this chemical stress test. So anyways, we do try to keep him in the medical as just to make sure that we're doing what we should be doing, even though he really fights it. He doesn't love going to the doctor, which who does? But anyways, so if you have any questions, if you want to, I believe the heart issues obviously are huge, cardiovascular issues. So if you want to be able to find out more about your heart or what you need to do or a loved one needs to do for their issues with their heart, I'd be happy to help, and we'd be happy to help at the Body Project. We have many different modalities. When you look at the heart, there's also the emotional component to it. So the emotional component is like heartache. This is where we store the emotion of heartache, is in our heart. So when we have a broken heart, which I believe that happened for my dad when he was 12, when his dad died suddenly. I don't know. That was just the most traumatic thing. He was so close to his dad. And I believe that was the first time he kind of had a heart, like his heart was broken. And then it never kind of healed from there, I believe. So I think sometimes genetics is also the emotional genetics of it, like emotionally what the whole family goes through too. But if you have questions and want to get a consult or want more information, please just call our front desk, get a consult, and we are so excited to be able to help you and your loved ones on their journey. And we hope you have a great day.